We are very glad to have your company on Rwanda Television News and joining you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Sam Kalisa. And as we started off, Rwanda and Guinea have committed to greater cooperation for mutual benefit of other people of both countries. This was reiterated by the heads of state of both countries on the second day of the official visit of President Mamadi Doumbouya.
On the second day of his three-day official visit here in Rwanda, Guinea's head of state held a tete-a-tete with his Rwandan counterpart, which was followed by bilateral talks with their respective delegations.
I wish to express that Rwanda stands with the government and the people of Guinea as you recover from the devastating incident at the fuel depot in Kalum last month. You have our full support. Earlier, the President and I had the opportunity to meet one-on-one. We had very productive discussions. What Rwanda and Guinea want to achieve is prosperity, peace, and security for our citizens.
Greater cooperation between the two countries has continued to be an important aspect of the visit that seeks to strengthen the bilateral ties that exist between Rwanda and Guinea.
Je voudrais ici aussi vous réitérer, Monsieur le Président, toute notre volonté de travailler avec vous. Parce que vous avez...
I want Your Excellency to once again say that we are prepared to work with you due to the confidence you have shown in our abilities. You were among the first heads of state to visit us in Conakry. You trusted us, and I assure you that was not a mistake. The government and people of Guinea will do everything possible to boost cooperation between our countries in sectors to do with communication and infrastructure, especially transportation.
Travailler là-dessus dans le secteur des infrastructures et surtout dans le secteur de transport.
Such cooperation between countries is a strategic method of dealing with the global challenges that are prevalent in this modern age.
We are very happy to work with Guinea to share some of our homegrown solutions and continue learning from each other. No one is being spared from global crises. Because of this, we need to find solutions to our own problems by increasingly working together.
Following the discussions at Village Rugwiro, His Excellency Lieutenant General Mamadi Doumbouya visited the Kigali Genocide Memorial at Gisozi, where he commended Rwandans for refusing to be held prisoners by the tragedy of the past and instead chose to promote unity and reconciliation. He also noted that the memorial should be a reminder for all people on the importance of fighting divisionism and evil ideologies everywhere.
The Rwanda Revenue Authority has made the decision to deregister TIN numbers of companies that were opened but never became operational following several complaints over heavy penalties. In an interview with RBA, Uitonze Jean-Paulé, the Deputy Commissioner of Taxpayer Services at the Rwanda Revenue Authority, noted that over 3,000 companies registered between 2014 and 2022 were exempted from the penalties worth more than 6 billion Rwandan francs.
Criteria to be able to come to this decision. Number one, we looked at the things that have never imported anything, things that never exported, the things that have never done any local purchases or any local sales of goods or services. And then after realizing that this number of things are clean on those four criteria, we decided to close those tax accounts for central taxes particularly, but also discharge them from these penalties that were charged by the system. So that's the decision, that's where we came from. Right now we count 31,000 tax accounts that were closed, that had never fulfilled the declarations for 54,000 tax periods. And they had penalties. It's not the money that we count as tax collection, because these are just penalties for the people who never operated any business activity. But these penalties were coming to 6.6 billion. And that's what we have done, and we think it's good news. It's responding to the requests, but also it's also helping us as a tax administration to have a clean taxpayer registry.
So this report involves the operation from 2014 to today, and I wonder whether you have been considering some businessmen who are complaining that despite when they fail to go ahead with their business, when they come to ask for closure, you become so rigid. So you refrain. What is the purpose?
For a tin to be deregistered, normally you have to have clean tax accounts. That means you have to look at the tax that you have not probably paid, declare and pay them, clean your tax arrears, and then ask for tin deregistration, and that is effected in 3 to 5 days in the normal circumstance. But what we see from time to time is that there are many business people or taxpayers who want their tins to be deregistered even having tax arrears. So that is not legally possible. So what we ask them is to probably check their tax accounts, see if they are clean, and then ask for the deregistration. Or else, if they have tax arrears that they have to settle, what they can simply do is come to us, approach us, negotiate a contract of installment payment if you cannot pay the whole tax arrear in full. And then we can be able to help you pay that tax arrear in installments. And then once it's completed into payment, then you can deregister your tin.
Private security companies' management have demonstrated that they are going to professionalize their work and legalize employees' contracts. This is as the Ministry of Public Service and Labour demonstrates that the companies that will not abide by the law will be penalized. We do have the details with Prince Manzi.
This is one of the security company's employees outlining various challenges they face.
Another
challenge is that we work overtime, and in case one is sick, he is set to use his own funds, yet we are under a company. We do not also have contracts. We are paid 23,000 a month, and there's inequality in payments. Such challenges faced by these companies prompted the Ministry of Public Service and Labour to undertake an inspection in October 2023. These challenges are to be addressed as explained by Gaspar Musonera, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Public Service and Labour.
Harimo n'ibindi byinshi. Ese umushahara tubaha ubafashije iki kugira ngo
There are even more challenges. Understanding that the salary is not a number, you should also benefit the employee and also paying them on time, giving them offs, all for the employees to be productive, access financial services, and develop. Private security companies demonstrate that they are going to address these challenges as it is in their benefit as well. The Rwanda National Police spokesperson, ACP Boniface Rutikanga, demonstrated that the private security companies that will not abide by the regulations will be penalized.
There
are some who are not aware, those who are given more information, so the aim of this meeting was for taking measurements on a common understanding, and afterwards, laws may be applied for those that fail to abide. Currently in Rwanda, there are 16 private security companies with over 30,000 employees.
CFAO Mobility has inaugurated East Africa's first BYD car dealership in Kigali. The showroom showcases various vehicles, including the Atto 3 electric SUV, Dolphin and Dolphin Mini models. CFAO Mobility, a pioneer in the development of electric solutions on the continent, will offer Rwanda an ecosystem of services to support the vehicles installation installation or installing charging stations and supplying solar power generation solutions, vehicle maintenance, assistance and spare parts.
We are launching our partnership with BID, between CFAO Motors Rwanda Limited and BYD. And we are launching one of the most the car needed as electrical. And it's called Auto 3. And we will start from this month to sell them. So we are launching a partnership with BYD. We are launching a new showroom. We are also launching a new name of CFAO, which now from today is going to call CFAO Mobility Solution. BYD was focused on batteries because BYD before to sell electrical cars, he started by selling batteries. So now the innovation BYD has is on batteries and longevity. So first of all, we are going to focus and see how we can improve the service, after the service. And 100% of our technicians have had some training, technical training with the BYD technician. So we are comfortable about that one. Actually, this day we are encouraging people to buy electrical vehicles because they are saving money when they are using electrical in terms of fuel. Because we are saying the range capacity of the battery is 420 kilometers. So you can maybe charge once in a week, so that within months you can only charge in 3 times. So you can save money on that one.
BYD started out as a battery designer and manufacturer before diversifying into automotive sector in 2003 and becoming a major player. In the fourth quarter of 2023, the brand was a world's leading producer of electric vehicles. And moving ahead, on Thursday at the Kigali Genocide Memorial in Gisozi, the commemoration of the International Holocaust Day took place. Officials who participated in the memorial, including the Ambassador of Israel to Rwanda, Her Excellency Enat Weiss, who stressed the importance and the role of people of the world to understand the responsibility in fighting genocide, starting with eradication of the ideology.
Let me start by saying how precious it is to have the Remembrance Day in this place. And I talked a lot about the connection also between our people and how important today when we see the rise of anti-Semitism, rise of anti-Tutsi sentiment, to combat it together. This is the call for action. We cannot allow anything like that to happen again. But it's not just an empty phrase. Never again can happen. We see it, we witness it. We are a generation that actually re-experiencing horrors from the past, from the genocide and from the Holocaust. And what we're saying is, we who came here today, those who care, really, really care, we should work together. There's always the social media, which is really an angel of propaganda. And what I said is, when people feel that their lives is just not good enough, or that the world is a hard place, we go back to the same place of racism. And because Jews and Tutsi, the sentiments were never really disappeared. The sentiments were always down there, quiet, under the surface. Now, when we have, the agent of the social media, we have a hard place to live in. We see all these noises come out, never disappeared. That's why I keep saying, now today, when everything is on record, we have record of people that act in anti-Semitic way, anti-Tutsi way. That is the time to act.
Still on related matters, Michael Miller, the Executive Vice President and CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York, has noted that nothing other than education on genocide against the Tutsi could be a major key in the fight and prevention of genocide ideology. He reiterated this while in an interview with our colleague Adams Quisera.
Well, first we need to define what genocide is. And once that is defined, it can be identified as to whether...
Do people firstly understand that?
No. That's why we need to educate. there's no better way of combating hatred. We started at the end, the culmination. There are various stages which lead to genocide. The various stages lead to that ultimate act of hatred. But it starts with general bias, and if that general bias is not going to be combated, it's not going to be opposed, then it can grow and grow and grow until the hatred becomes so compelling that it leads to mass murder, in essence. Why am I here? Why am I in Kigali? I'm in Kigali because the Israeli ambassador to Rwanda, Ambassador Einat Weiss, invited me here to speak last night at the annual International Day of Remembrance for the Holocaust that was established by the United Nations on January 27th. January 27th falls on a Saturday, which is a Sabbath, the Jewish Shabbat, and therefore the event was not held on Saturday. It was held on Thursday night. It was held last night. And I was here and invited by the ambassador to come and to be the keynote speaker at the event. What was the Holocaust if not genocide? In essence, the Holocaust defined what genocide is and what it is not. What happened here to the Tutsis in this country was genocide. They were identified, they were victimized because of who they were, not because of anything that they did. And it wasn't just one person, it wasn't even a sector of one nationality. It was across the board. So anybody who could be identified as a Tutsi was subject to being killed, to being murdered. Anybody during the period of World War II who was identified as being Jewish, even if they had only one grandparent who was Jewish, they were still identified as being Jewish, and therefore they were targeted for murder. So we in the Jewish faith who have suffered through the murder, annihilation, extermination of 6 million of our brothers and sisters, men, women, elderly, children, we understand and appreciate and are compassionate to those who are being targeted for acts of hatred, and certainly for those who are enduring genocidal acts. This level is irrational. It defies explanation. Why should one group hate another group despite the fact that that other group hasn't done anything in reality that deserves, God forbid, that the most important thing that we can engage in is education. And once we engage in that education, once we teach people how to appreciate one another, then we need to engage people themselves and bring people together, which is what we try to do in New York. New York is a city with about 200 different ethnic communities. And thank God there isn't the level of towards genocide, but there is a significant rise of acts of anti-Semitism. And therefore we need to ensure that particularly our young people are knowledgeable with facts, not fiction, with truth, not lies, about who the Jewish people are. And here in Rwanda, it would be the same thing with regard to the Tutsis as to who they are as human beings, as individuals, not as some kind of an economic group, but just as who they are. And I think part of the challenge that we have, Adam, is social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you want to ask a question about that, or you just want me to speak on it.
I want you to speak on it.
Okay. Social media, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or any other platform that our young people are using across the board, it is a platform for dispensing all different kinds of messages, regardless of whether those messages have any foundation in truth.
Yeah.
And once they're on social media, they never get off of social media. And if they're done in a very attractive, cool way, our young people are going to absorb those messages, internalize them, and tragically act on them. So it could be anti-Semitism, the hatred of the Jew. It could be the genocide that happened here, the hatred of the Tutsi. Could be hatred of Muslims, which is referred to as Islamophobia. Could be the hatred of anyone in the world. That once those messages are disseminated on social media, in particular, instantaneously, at warp speed, it travels around the world.
Sure.
And we need to speak out, particularly for those who are the owners of these social media platforms. We need to speak out. They should do everything that they can to eliminate hate speech on social media.
Yeah, still on that, in what ways can the lessons for combating anti-Semitism be applied to address and prevent genocide and hate speech in other parts of the world? I gave this example of the Great Lakes region, where in DRC, we are now seeing some of the signs of that hate speech, hatred, and even genocide ideology. Yes,
I think, and actually I had a discussion about it just today with a very important international organization. I think it's very important that we identify victims of genocide. There are still victims of the Holocaust, thank God, who are still alive. 83 years after the end of the war, there are still victims of the Holocaust who are still with us, elderly but still with us. And it is those individuals who can serve as witnesses to offer testimony as to what took place and what should never ever take place again. And what happened here as well. There should be victims of the genocide here who describe what they went through, who describe the murder of their relative in horrible, cruel ways. I think that those messages really come across, and I know that in America and around the world, that hearing from the victims of the Holocaust, the victims of a genocide does, in many instances, resonate with particularly young people who are listening, who really don't understand it, don't have an appreciation for the extent to which the hatred can lead people to do the most vicious and horrible things.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Michael Miller, for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this marks the end of our tonight's exclusive interview segment with me, Adam Squizera.
Welcome back, and thank you for keeping us company as we move ahead to other matters. Into energy sector, Ignite Power, an SME from Rwanda, was awarded the Zayed Sustainability Prize for its transformative efforts to provide affordable electricity to last-mile communities across the sub-Saharan Africa. Their pay-as-you-go solar solutions provided electricity to 2.5 million people and prevented 600,000 tons of carbon emissions. Beyond access to clean energy, Ignite Power has introduced solar-powered irrigation solutions and generated 3,500 local jobs. Our colleague Bonaventure Chubahiro had a discussion with Angela Homse, head of Ignite Power, who reiterated on how their project has positively affected local communities in Rwanda.
Of course. I mean, we've already been doing that for years in Rwanda. We've reached out so many different users. We've employed so many people in the country as well, and trained and employed so many people in the country. A lot of them coming from rural areas that for the first time they get, a different type of livelihood and revenue. So we continue doing that. And now that we're going to give it to schools, it is a game changer, right? And that's we're going to do that in Rwanda, and we're going to do that across the continent. But of course, like Rwanda will benefit from it, and will get access to that power and internet solutions in school. So we'll continue operating those distributed infrastructure, those digitized infrastructure around the country, and we'll keep on servicing it, on making sure that it grows, that it reaches more and more people. So we're not planning to leave and go anywhere. We're staying. It's not just a project. It's actually like something that is there to stay and to continue and grow. And in terms of education, look, imagine if you're a kid, going to school in a rural area and you don't have access to internet. Okay, great. You have one teacher for many kids that are out there, and then you go back home, and again, there's no internet either and no power, and it's very hard to do your homework because it's dark, or to read books or whatever. It's very hard. You have a very limited amount of resources and a very limited amount of time that you can grow and enrich yourself and educate yourself. If you have power of an internet, you create a world of abundance. A world of abundance of how many books you can get, because there's like an infinity of books on the internet, right? And how many tools you can get, and apps to learn English, to learn other stuff, to learn math that you can get access to. And if you're not as well, sort of restricted by the dark, because you have like proper safe electricity, not the kerosene lamp or the candles, which is not good. But if you have proper electricity, clean, safe electricity, then you can keep learning and reading at night. When you come back home, you can do a lot more things to enhance your knowledge, and you're not bonded by restriction and limitation. It's really opening a world of abundance for development. My future plan is simply to grow faster and bigger, and that's what we're doing at Ignite. I mean, there's about 1 billion people that need what we do. 1 billion. We've reached about almost 3 million people today. There's still a long way to go. The goal is basically to make energy and internet poverty a problem of the past. And for that, we just need to keep on growing and developing and going faster. De facto, we are a Pan-African platform. So we're doing it in multiple places, and we're penetrating new countries, and we're really trying to support people everywhere. But, there's a lot of them that need a solution, that wants it. It's just how fast we can scale, how fast we can grow is going to make a very big difference.
And that's all from us here at RB's Rwanda Television News. On behalf of the entire news and production team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us. As we let you off for the weekend, have fun, and we wish you a great and safe weekend. Up until next time, stay safe and have a great evening.